Welcome to Dorset. Today we're at White Nothe and we're here for Golden Light. Great to see you all again, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're on a stretch of the Jurassic Coast called White Nothe, and it's a little bit of a Marmite shot here. You probably, if you don't live in the area, you probably haven't heard of it, and it's not really very commonly shot at all, but I've got a real affinity with this particular location. I absolutely love it, and I've been planning a shot here for forever. And what essentially we're looking for is we've got the sun setting out to our right tonight, and the light is hopefully going to fall directly on these beautiful cliffs behind me. Now they've got some beautiful chalk and sandstone structures in these, so I'm really hoping that they're going to glow up nicely. It's quite a dull day, as you can see, but we're throwing caution to the wind and come out because I've just got that feeling that we might just get a little gap and some light just might come through. We might just nail that shot, and with the dull clouds behind, it'll actually make it a really, really interesting and dramatic shot. So that's the hope for today. In terms of composition, we're aiming for two different compositions. We're standing, first of all, just on the ledge here, and we've got a nice rock stack just in front of us. The rock stack's not as prominent as it used to be. It's crumbled away over the years, but it still makes a really, really nice foreground for this particular shot. And the second shot we're going to go for, we've got a beautiful bench just behind up here, and we're going to try and incorporate that into the shot. Now, it doesn't reveal quite as much of the coastline when you use this bench, but it does make a bit of an interesting foreground, and it does give you a little sense of scale of it. Plus, I just feel it makes for a good story on the picture. It's a beautiful viewpoint. There's the bench there and the view behind it, so it tells that story. So that's what we're aiming for today, those two shots. All we need is that light. Now, as you can probably hear from the microphone, it's very, very windy up here. I mean, it's a bitterly cold November evening, and there's about half an hour left now till sunset. And hopefully, as I say, we're just going to get that little moment of light popping through, and it will make everything, and it will be worthwhile for doing it. The reason this place is never really sort of featured in shots, really, I don't think it's because of the look of it, because I think it is absolutely stunning to look at. I think it's a little bit because it's quite a long trek to get here, and you've got to go through a field of cows, and if you're anything like me, you can't stand cows, and I'm petrified of them, so I really, really hate going through it. But I do, make the effort to come and do this particular thing every now and then, because I really do love this location, and I really feel with some side light on it today, it'll be fantastic. Now, right in the distance, it's probably too far to see. You've actually got Kimmeridge Bay just lighting up where the sun's just catching it. And this particular location, just on the far cliff, just behind it is Durdle Door, which is somewhere that you probably have heard of. And then we've got Kimmeridge Bay as you go further back, and Lulworth Cove, etc. So it's a very well-known stretch of coastline, but this particular area, not so well known. And as I say, it just really doesn't get shot that much, which is such a shame. It's just a beautiful location, but hopefully we'll do it justice today and be able to nail some shots with it. When I bring you guys out with me, I do like to try and go to some venues that you might not have seen, or maybe even haven't heard of. And as I say, it isn't the most amazing location that you'll ever see, and certainly somewhere like Durdle Door is much more dramatic. But I do think these stretches of coastline really are very, very unique, and it's one of the better ones in my opinion on this particular coast. So I brought you here today. I hope you like it, and let me know in the comments if it's somewhere that you fancy having a shot of yourself. The sun itself at the moment is hidden behind quite a big bunch of cloud, but there are little gaps just moving across, and I'm really praying that gap will just move across as the sun's coming down. It will just give us that chance for golden light to pour through. Today we're going to be shooting at f/16, and the reason we're doing that is there's an awful lot on this coastline, and I want a nice front to back sharpness. Again, I said before, we could focus stack it, but I prefer to get it in one image if I can. And I do want to stress the point that, you know, a lot of the time people, they are so stuck on an aperture of, say, f11, and I'm guilty of it myself. I use it all the time, and, you know, it is a very good sharp aperture on these particular lenses. But, you know, don't be afraid to go up to something like f16, f18. People always talk about diffraction on lenses, but really and truly, with today's modern cameras and modern lenses, it really doesn't become too much of an issue. And I've never shot something at f16 and thought, oh, it's really soft in the corners with, you know, these sort of modern lenses. So, you know, don't be afraid to go up and, you know, shoot your aperture a little bit narrower to get everything in focus. It really can make all the difference. It's ever so difficult to watch the light illuminate all the stuff in the rear of the scene there, because we can't really get a photograph of it. Even with the big 100-400 lens, it's just not really a composition that's going to work for us. So we're going to stick to the 24-105. It gives us a really good deal of flexibility when we're out on these shots. And, you know, you have light traveling all the way across it. So I want to obviously be able to incorporate the entire scene, but I also want to be able to sometimes zoom in and get small areas of light as it's hitting specific places. So the 24-105 is pretty much my favourite lens here. Wide angles on this particular shot, I don't feel really, you know, you don't utilise them to their best. The shot tends to sort of fall off quite quickly, and with a wide angle everything can just become a little bit too lost. So I prefer to have a little bit of a closer focal length on this one, and we could be shooting anything here really from you know, going up to about sort of 50mm, maybe 60mm, but anywhere from sort of 24mm upwards. Now, we're not here for a sunset tonight. I mean, it's possible that there might be some nice conditions, and if it does, you know, light up, then certainly I'm going to capture it. But as I say, it's all about the light today, and being on that cliff and just lighting it up and revealing the contours of that sort of chalky surface. One thing that's worth noting with this is, with the chalks sort of stacks that you've got here, it's very, very easy to overexpose them. So I am being very, very careful, and I've got a very, very light grad on it. I mean, you could get away with this shot today without a grad, to be fair. But I am putting one on just to keep that sky just in check, really. And it's a 0.6 grad, and it is working just how I want it to. But don't be afraid to do something like this when you've got heavy light on there, and use just a polarizing filter, for example. You don't always have to use a grad on it, but you know, today it's looking like it's working for us, so we're going to stick with it. But as the light changes, if the cloud gets a little bit sort of lighter, for example, we might just take that graduated filter off and just allow that chalk to be the real bright centre of the picture. As always with any shooting, histogram is key here, and you've got to make sure that you're not clipping these particular chalk stacks, and just keep a close eye on it on there. I do tend to change my metering sometimes on here and use spot metering, so I can make sure I can get the chalk stacks exactly where I want them and exposure bang on for those. But you know, you can use all sorts of metering with it really, and it won't be sort of too different. But for me, that particular one on this spot metering is pretty good. Just seeing a little bit of sunlight just coming out, so I'm going to rush around and try and get some pictures, really take advantage of that, because I don't think it will last too long. But look at that, starting to really glow up. Got an absolutely fantastic contrast going on now. We've got the beautiful golden light on this cliff top with the white chalk, and then we've got these dark moody clouds and some shadow in the back, really looking absolutely fantastic. Well, I'm fairly hopeful I've managed to nail a couple of shots there just as that light came through. And as I say, it's so fleeting and so fast, and you've got to be absolutely ready for this, because if you miss it, that's the shot pretty much gone. Without the light on this, I really don't feel it's that good of a shot. But once it comes out and it reveals all the contours of that landscape, it looks so stunning. So it's really, really worth holding on and just getting that right moment and capturing that light as it just drapes itself all over the landscape. It really does look amazing. Well, I'm really hopeful that we've got a couple of decent pictures there, and I'll stick them up. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear your views on them. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed White Nothe today. I've certainly loved bringing you down here. It's lovely to show you a place that isn't a real honeypot location, doesn't get shot a lot. We've had the place to ourselves. I mean, that's been absolutely fantastic. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It really does help the video get out there, and I really appreciate it as well. And leave a comment, let me know what you thought of it. And if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.